What's going on, guys? Raiden here. Today we're playing some Domination on Kowloon. In the beginning of this game is sped up just a little bit because, for whatever reason, I was having a really hard time finding anybody to kill. I know you guys don't want to sit here for a full minute watching me not shoot my gun just running around, but I was really happy with the way I played this game. I felt like I played really solid and really aggressive, and I actually ended up going flawless. I think it went something like 34-0, but I'm not going to focus too much on the gameplay. I mean, 34-0 kind of speaks for itself. There's not much to say. But today I want to talk a little bit about pushing your body to its limit and beyond. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds kind of deep. It kind of sounds like some Bruce Lee shit or something. And it actually is. I'm going to start off by telling a little story about Bruce Lee and one of his friends, and then say a quote by Bruce Lee. Then I'm going to kind of go into who Bruce Lee was and what he did, and talk about how I try to apply what Bruce Lee said in my own life. So, there was a guy, and I don't recall his name, I've actually never known it, but there was this guy who would run with Bruce Lee every morning, and they would run 3 miles every morning and then go on their merry way. But one morning started off like any other. They ran the 3 miles, and this guy was just done. He was finished. He was bent over, breathing really heavily, really deeply. There was no way he could run anymore. And Bruce Lee stops and says, "You know what? I think we're going to run 5 miles this morning." This guy says, "Are you kidding me? I'm about to die here." And Bruce Lee says, "Then die." The guy got so mad at what Bruce Lee said that he pushed himself and finished the run. He ran the full 5 miles. And afterwards, the guy gets there and he's in worse shape than he was before. Bruce Lee stops and says, "Seriously, if you always put limits on what you can do, physical or anything else, it'll spread over into the rest of your life. It'll spread into your work, into your morality, and into your entire being. There are no limits. There are plateaus, but you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. If it kills you, it kills you. A man must exceed his level." That's a really, really awesome quote, really deep. And when the guy said, "I'm about to die here," Bruce Lee basically said, "You know what? Die then. I don't really care. I mean, if you're not going to push yourself to your limit, then you're not worthy of running with me." Real quick right here, I would just like to say that this guy was terrible. I really should have died here, but I'm lucky that he just did not know what he was doing. But anyway, Bruce Lee basically just said, "You know what? Go fuck yourself. I mean, if you're not going to push yourself to your level, then you don't deserve to live." And although that may sound really, really an arrogant thing to say, like, Bruce Lee kind of sounded like a dick when he said that, but the guy learned that he could push himself past what he thought was his limit. I think that's really important to understand. If you don't know who Bruce Lee was, he was a martial artist that was born in China in, I'm not sure what time, I think like around the 1940s. And when he was 18, he moved into America and started, he became a citizen and started pursuing an acting career. And for those of you that know Bruce Lee well, or maybe those of you who don't, you might recognize the movies Enter the Dragon, Fist of Fury, and things like that, but he actually invented the fighting style Jeet Kune Do. He was considered the founder of it. And he's considered by many commentators and critics, whatever you want to think about, the most influential martial artist that ever lived, and a big cultural icon. And unfortunately, he died when he was 33. I'm not sure how he died. I haven't really looked it up much, but that's kind of a bio on Bruce Lee. And he actually was friends with Chuck Norris, and they worked out a little bit every now and then. And if you look up Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee, they fought together in a movie, like fought against each other. And there's an interview with Chuck Norris on YouTube, and the guy asked him if they ever fought against each other. Chuck Norris, being respectful, knowing that Bruce Lee was a great fighter, when Chuck Norris said they sparred, they never fought together. They just, lifted weights, punched bags, things like that. And I think they both had way too much respect for each other to try and fight each other legitimately to see who would win. But honestly, regardless of how many Chuck Norris jokes you have in your arsenal, Bruce Lee would have kicked Chuck Norris's ass, I'm just saying. And an interesting fact about Bruce Lee, his moves were so fast that they actually had to slow film down so they could see what he was doing. That's how fast he punched or kicked or whatever you want to call it. And that just blows my mind. I mean, I wish I could move that fast, to the point where you actually had to slow film down to see it. Now, obviously, back when he was acting, they didn't have the kind of filming technology that we do now, so now I don't think, if you shot Bruce Lee with a modern camera, you probably wouldn't have to slow it down at all. But As far as applying this to my own life, you know, marching band isn't something that a lot of people consider physically demanding, but I really do think, I mean, I know it is. You're marching at a fast tempo. That in itself is demanding. I mean, it's just like running, but you're holding an instrument which can be anywhere from, you know, 5 pounds to 15 pounds to whatever, and that goes for everybody, not just trombones. You're doing all this, you're carrying a pretty decently, you know, weighted instrument, and you're marching and you're breathing and you're blowing air through your instrument. I mean, that takes a lot of work, and you get out of breath really quick, especially when you're playing really loud like I do. And, you know, sometimes when you're marching like in a parade that's really long, or just in a show in general, you start to get really tired. And what I try to do is push myself past that limit, because I know how far I can go. I know when I've reached my limit, and I know that I can push myself past that. The main thing is you can't think about, oh, I'm done, I'm at my limit. You have to think, you know what, I'm going to go further than this. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the game. I hope you enjoyed this commentary, and I will catch you later.